Are you tired of New Year's resolutions that fizzle out by February? This year, we're doing something different. I'm inviting you to join me on a journey of 5 daily habits that are easy to implement and have deep impact. Hi, my friend. I'm Rachel, and this is Sacred Spills, where we explore how eternity breathes through the ordinary. The 5 habits that I'm hoping to implement in my life this year are drinking 2 glasses of water in the morning. 2, walking my dog every morning, but I'm increasing the amount of steps as well. 3, listening to the Bible in a year chronologically. 4, 15 minutes of prayer meditation time. And 5, 15 minutes of journaling and communicating with God time. Now, I've broken up prayer and communication with God, so we'll get into that a little bit, but I'm going to start with my first small step. 2 glasses of water first thing in the morning? You might be thinking, just 2 glasses of water? How can that change my life? But it's in these seemingly small acts of discipline that we build momentum for something much bigger. Hydration is so important for healthy living. So if we get up in the morning and grab a couple of glasses, we already have a win. I'm doing this first thing in the morning before I look at my phone. I'm going to keep a mug in the bathroom on the counter and just get it done. If you're coming along with me on this journey, check out my Sacred Spills Instagram account. I'll be posting there regularly, and I would love to hear your thoughts and your struggles. My second thing is that I'm going to walk outside every day. Walking is like free therapy, and being outside every day respects the needs of my body. We are embodied creatures. Our spirit soul resides in a physical location that has boundaries and limitations. We need to understand and respect this. There's a ton of research about how good sunshine and fresh air are. They help us to regulate our systems, and they keep everything ticking along healthily. If we start the day off right, we get a second easy win. Of course, I have a dog and he needs to exercise, so I have been walking pretty regularly with him, but I plan on upping my step count to 3,000 by 9 a.m. This is my attempt to try and maintain a higher step count regularly. Habit number 3 is to read my Bible or listen to the Bible. Instead of feeling lost and behind in my Bible reading, what if I just started the day habit stacking, listening and walking instead of feeling ashamed when I don't sit and read like I'm supposed to? Carving out time to sit and read the Bible can be challenging. But if I'm listening while I'm already walking the dog, that's easy win number 3. I plan on using the Bible app and reading the chronological Bible in a year. I'm going to be putting up a short video sharing about what the chronological Bible is and why it's good to use it. The Bible is huge and it can seem overwhelming, but it's completely doable to read it in a year if you just break it down into smaller parts. I used to ask my kids, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. Everything is manageable in small bites. It can be read in 1 year. Of course, some of us think we need to read it cover to cover. That's a certain way of reading it, but reading it in chronological order, it brings so much life to the scriptures and context. And so the context matters. And like I said, I'm going to make a short video about that, but check it out. Chronological Bible is just a really fun way to read through the book. You're able to carry the story along easier. Reading it in a year or less and reading it chronologically will help you retain the story and see God's redemptive plan from beginning to end in a very cohesive way. And you see how it is a cohesive story. It really is a full mythos. The whole underpinning of the culture can rest on the biblical narrative. Most of us don't need better discipline. We need better reflection. Taking time to pray and meditate daily helps us to center ourselves. So we're keeping our physical body in check as well as our mental, emotional, spiritual life all in alignment. Our world is a busy place and it's also so very noisy. And if you try to sit and think of nothing for 30 seconds, I think you'll agree with me that it's hard. Just set a timer for 30 seconds right now and try to think of nothing. And it's near impossible. Taking any amount of time to reflect and relax is good. But I want to make this a more regular practice. I set a timer, and when my mind drifts, I gently bring it back to concentrating on my breathing or concentrating on a scripture I'm trying to memorize. One tip from the mystics is that they would often picture themselves somewhere in a biblical scene. I like to think of myself as the woman at the well when Jesus is waiting alone for a drink of water. So she walks up and starts talking to him. I can almost imagine him sitting there by the well, and I can walk up to him and start having this conversation with him. So that's kind of the prayer. But for meditative purposes, I just want to sit in that presence. Some of the mystics would use something like the scene from the Garden of Gethsemane. Maybe you want to use the burning bush that Moses was talking to, but having an image or visual thing to kind of grab onto so that you can focus on something intentional and not letting your mind wander and scatter out. So who knows? But ask God and try on a couple of scenes, see how it goes. And subscribe to join me on this journey. Give me a like or a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And the last thing that I plan to do for 2026 is prayer journaling or two-way journaling. A little bit done faithfully will outlast a lot done passionately. I'm a passionate person, but I struggle with consistency. Please take it from me. From personal trial and error, I have found these grandiose pushes fizzle out really quickly. They don't have that transformative power that small, consistent habits have over time. I mean, I love me a good Holy Ghost moment. Being on the mountaintop is exhilarating. Doesn't matter how high you soar or how loudly you praise, it's about how you walk. When others are watching you on a random Tuesday when there is nothing going your way. And that's what makes the difference of how people observe Jesus followers as opposed to the rest of everybody else. So if you want to stand out as a Jesus follower, you're going to make sure that you know how to walk straight when you're going through the valley or when there's just the humdrum of life. You need to be able to walk straight and keep your eye on the goal. That being said, I enjoy using Mark Verkler's 4 keys to hearing God's voice, and I'll be doing that for my journaling. So I'll actually picture a conversation that I'm having with God. Very simple, or Jesus. Very similar to what I was explaining in the meditative step there. So I'm walking up to Jesus, he's sitting by the well, and I'll just start journaling out what my thoughts, what I would like to say to Jesus if he was standing there and I was talking to him, or if he was sitting at the table across from me and we each had a mug of coffee or something. So I'll write down my thoughts and my ideas, but then I'll write down thoughts and ideas that I think may be coming from God, that divine internal voice that bubbles up and speaks softly to my spirit. I'll just jot those things down because if I'm not doing that and I start to think about the idea that I'm trying to talk to God and I'm trying to hear from God. Like, it's one thing to think that I can talk to God. It's another thing to think that he can talk to me. And well, that's how you can sort of get into crazy town. So you gotta be careful about how you frame that and talk about that, but also how you approach those ideas. So being able to write down what you think God might be saying to you, then you don't like shut it down right away, but you also then can go back and reread it and be like, well, maybe that wasn't really God, or maybe the Lord is speaking to me in these ways, or maybe these things are confirmation of something that holds true in my spirit. I actually feel like I can sense a heaviness or like a settling or a bubbling up. So like I can actually like feel things in my body when I sense that I'm on the path that leads to peace, the path that leads to patience, the path that leads to communing with the divine. And so, I'll jot the thoughts down and the ideas of what I think God is saying to me, but I don't really think I'm hearing an audible voice or that there are a bunch of voices in my head telling me what to do. But there is a sense of a communing is a better word, but the sitting and chatting with the internal divine. the presence of God that is residing within. So anyway, that's pretty much my journaling. Maybe that'll be one of the spiritual formation episodes I get into in the future, just to keep that in mind, things to look forward to. So I know life gets busy, and sometimes just getting through the day feels like a win. And that's why I'm calling 5 days a week a win for these habits. I've been personally referring to it as the daily grind, but I just want to lock in and grind on these things regularly. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace because I know who I am, and I know how much I'll beat myself up or how much I might feel ashamed of not achieving the 7 day a week goal if I set it. So I'm going to call 5 days a week a win. And that's because I'm looking for consistency, not perfection. I'm going to attempt 7 days a week, but that's my goal. 5 small habits, 5 days a week for a full year, 2026. These small things may not change your life overnight, but they will impact you over time. It is amazing all of the studies that's happening in epigenetics and all of the research and that's being explained and expressed on a YouTube channel like Andrew Huberman's. I know there's a bunch of others, but the concepts that are being articulated about how we can shape and mold ourselves based on the choices that we make today that will cause us to be a different person in the future. So these small habits, they are really small little things, and it should take me less than an hour. And half of them I was already kind of doing anyway. I just want to do them better or more consistently. So that's like the atomic habits, habit stacking kind of idea. It's already there and something I'm doing consistently. So then I'm just going to put an extra thing like I'm already brushing my teeth. So now I'm going to drink water in the bathroom at the same time. Anyway, if you want to travel with me, leave a comment below. What's one small habit you're hoping to cultivate in 2026? Let's encourage each other and keep an eye out for my explanation of the chronological Bible. So that's all I got for this topic. Until next time, let's keep soft hearts and teachable spirits as we grow in our knowledge and understanding of God. Thank you, my friend.